just want to quickly point out that Pete Hegseth is, in fact, a war criminal. On September 2nd, after a first missile had failed to kill everybody on board, he ordered a second missile to be fired with the expressed intent of killing the survivors. All the legal yoga that went into justifying the first strike doesn't apply to the second strike, which is unequivocally a war crime according to American law. And here's why. 18 U.S. Code Section 2441 addresses exactly what a war crime is. First, it says who it applies to, which is whoever, whether inside or outside the United States, commits a war crime in any of the circumstances described in the subsection. And the subsection then stipulates what constitutes a war crime. It says that the term war crime means any conduct defined as a grave breach in any of the international conventions signed at Geneva on the 12th of August, 1949. And the relevant portion of the Geneva Convention that we're discussing here stipulates members of the armed forces and other persons mentioned in the following article who are at sea and who are shipwrecked shall be respected and protected in all circumstances. When he ordered the U.S. military to fire on those shipwrecked survivors, that was inarguably a war crime. Now, some people might want to say those were unlawful combatants, but that still doesn't work because there's something called the Mini Convention, which specifically convened to address these sort of outliers. And in that, they determined anybody that is hors de combat, I'm sorry, my French is not great, but that means out of combat, is a non-combatant, and it is illegal to kill them at that point. That includes if they're terrorists, that includes if they're soldiers, that includes anybody, period. You can't just go around murdering people, in other words. There's no discussion here. This is what happened. Ergo, according to the letter of the law, Pete Hegseth committed an egregious war crime. And by statute, if death results to the victim, the perpetrator shall also be subject to the penalty of death. There's no ambiguity here. The law is definitive, and there are no technicalities that can get around it. They're the very reason that such laws exist and the very reason that the Geneva Convention exists.